Legacies are built
by tradition.
Just remember this.
Values.
40 men together can't lose, okay?
And beliefs.
Born of a spirit.
1, 2, 3.
Hail to the greats that laid our foundation.
Proud of all of you, proud of all of you, man.
Cultivated in the hearts of the people from the DMV.
Cultivated in the heart.
But even the greatest of legacies evolve
Back to pass on a quick shot.
or fade.
The liner at the 5, dives for the corner, touchdown.
We have one goal, one mission,
One drive.
Honor our legacy and fulfill our ultimate purpose.
We are
Trailblazers.
battle-tested legends.
Leaders.
and one united community.
Everything we need is in this room. We are
The Commanders.
And welcome into Command Center. Julie Donaldson along with Santana Moss and Rick Doc Walker in the house with us. As Saturday we celebrated the 90th anniversary of this franchise, which of course both of you gentlemen played a huge role in. Doc, let me start with you. I mean, what does this franchise mean to you?
Well, stability from my standpoint in playing here, you come from the West Coast and you end up here and you're embraced by, at the time we had, in my opinion, the #1 fan base on earth. And so I'm stuck with that and high on it because I don't know how not to be.
Yeah. It means a lot to me just knowing the rich history that I'm able to be able to represent, you know, some of the things, some of the names that we just talked about, and just seeing some of the championships that was won here. You know, we fought to be a part of that history, but I think we still have our little part just knowing that we are part of this franchise history in a whole, you know?
It's taken on a lot of evolution since it first started, but of course we are going to be celebrating that all season long. It is the 90th year here for Washington. We're going to be doing that, celebrating for many ways throughout our history, including a special 90th anniversary patch that will be worn on the team's jersey. In addition to the team patch, so the franchise is going to honor the team's history with a special theme at each home game. Now, for more on the importance on this special anniversary season, we welcome in Team President Jason Wright. Joining us now is Team President Jason Wright. Jason, this is a very important year for the franchise, and you get to be at the helm of it. You get to be the one that kind of oversees and makes sure that we're going in the right direction, that we're doing it the right way. That's fair to our history, that's fair to the fan base, to the players, and those that love this brand. It's a lot of responsibility, but we're so excited for everything that's about to come. But what is it like for you personally, kind of stewarding this year?
It is an immense privilege. The people use the word, I'm honored to do this a lot with different things. I've never felt more honored to do any job in my life. And we talk a lot about the future because we've done some transformative things here. You know, most diverse leadership team in the NFL, and what's happening in ticket sales and sponsorship is really remarkable. It'll feel different in the stadium this year. So we talk a lot about the future and innovation, but really there's the real value of this place is in the history that fuels all of that intensity and creativity and forward movement. For me, the opportunity to take us forward, be bold, innovative, try things differently, staff our teams differently, while also making sure that we are bringing forward the richness of the past that is the real value of this place is super challenging and incredibly rewarding. So it's a privilege.
What are you wanting fans to walk away from this season saying about the 90th year?
There should be a deeper sense of tradition and ritual and historicity to this year. It should feel like the team that's been here since 1932. You know, there's lots of stuff we're doing, but I'm excited about the fight song being played in the stadium again. It'll have basically the same tune. And I know some people are going to sing the old lyrics.
That's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. And that fight song will be played by the marching band that has come back. And come back in a proper way, in a buttoned-up business way. People are fully paid and and protected and all of the stuff that needs to be in place. Running a proper functioning business here. We're bringing back the marching band to play that fight song and to lead us in that as a community and as a fan base, as a family on game day. We'll have a 90th anniversary patch and design that I think is dope. You're probably seeing it right behind me. It'll show up on the uniforms. It'll be available in merch. And you'll see a bunch of cool merchandise activations over the course of the year. And I don't want to scoop our team because there's some cool stuff that's going to happen. Yeah. But we're finding that we have found a good style and a good aesthetic in what we're putting out there now. And we're partnering with our fans to figure out what they want to put on their bodies. And I think we have some cool stuff for the 90th anniversary.
Plenty of highs for the franchise over the past 90 years. The Boston Braves were founded on July 9th, 1932. And then in 1937, well, the team relocated to Washington, where they won their first of 5 total league championships. In the team's rich history of 90 years, they have won over 600 regular season games and sent 32 former players, coaches, and administrators to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So here we are going to be celebrating the 90th all season long. A very rich history when we talk about it. Doc, why is it so important, though, to make sure as we do go forward as the Commanders that we do honor that history?
Well, it's just like your alma mater. I don't care what your status is, you smile when they do well. Mm-hmm. And you want to be proud of the organization and stick your chest out. I don't have a tattoo, but I feel like it's a permanent tattoo on my heart. And so, yeah, I'm in for the long haul. And I'm hopeful that we'll get back and return to glory.
I think you hit it spot on. You know, one of the things that you get, you take pride in now is just being a part of what they have going forward. Looking at these guys now that come in as the first of the Commanders, you almost have a sense to say, look, you guys have a chance to start off with a clean slate. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes, these guys, the guys before us or the guys before you guys won championships and played in big games, but now you have a chance to do it as the first group of the Commanders. So if I was in their shoes, I'd be looking forward to just having a chance to really, stamp my name in history as a Commander. But all the while, you're thinking about those guys who represent this franchise as a whole.
Yeah, it is the burgundy and gold, and so much to be proud of. And of course, we know the fan base, they celebrate and love those glory days where Coach Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls as well. You are part of one of those teams. But here as we go forward, I know we've had some of the alumni back with the current players, and what Ron Rivera is trying to do with this team is, of course, always want to get back to those days. How do you tie in yesterday with today, Doc?
Well, first of all, the good news is that the uniform change is clean in that, so that you can snap that. Mm-hmm. Because, when I look at it right now, it's benign. And I'm looking to jump into this one and join a new association because that ribbon's been cut. So you just want to build on something, as Tana mentioned, this is their ground floor. And, you can just grow with it. And I think that's exciting.
How do you I think it was really cool to have some of you guys come out and talk to the current players as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, what did that mean for you, Santana, to be able to talk here and say, hey, this is what it takes. This is what you're fighting for. This is what you're representing as well.
It means a lot. I think a lot of guys don't have a chance to really talk to some of the guys they look at as idols or they looked up to. We all been in these guys' shoes who are coming into this league and trying to be a part of that logo that we represent and be held at the highest of all highs. And it means so much to hear from the guys who basically, like I said, laid the foundation for us. So I took pride in just letting these guys know they can reach out and touch me, whether it's text, call, or you see me in the building. But I would love to share that input because I remember being in your shoes and I was yearning for a guy to give me more than what I needed on a day-to-day.
And many of them will also say, too, when you first walk into the facility here, the first thing you see are those 3 Lombardi trophies to remind you how great this franchise is and where we want to be able to get back to. Now, lots of players that are iconic. Of course, you two here with me, but coming up on the show, we're going to talk about some of the most iconic players over the years and whose impact on the organization will outlast the others. We're going to rank the most iconic in franchise history next. And this season, fans will be able to join in on the 90th anniversary celebrations through digital platforms such as Snapchat and TikTok. On Snapchat, fans can dress up in the iconic Washington uniforms over the years with a unique camera filter. And on TikTok, you can watch a video recapping Washington's history of celebration dances and giving you a chance to recreate those same dance moves for all of your followers.
Washington here.
I'm Mari Quandro, former offensive lineman for the Washington Commanders.
Hello, Commanders Nation. It's your former tight end, Fred Davis.
This is Charlie Casserly, along with my wife, Bev.
Happy 90th anniversary, Washington organization.
Happy birthday, Washington Commanders. Good luck on the upcoming season.
I wanted to wish the team happy birthday.
So we're turning daily today, are we? Happy birthday, happy 90th birthday.
Happy birthday, Washington organization.
Great players, too many to name, but how about Sammy Baugh, the greatest Redskin of all time, and actually the greatest football player of all time in the National Football League.
Great job representing the nation's capital for 90 years.
Congratulations to the 90th anniversary. It's time to make new history. Let's go!
Washington football in the nation's capital has been something special for 90 years now.
To the guys that laid the foundation before, and of course to the guys I was fortunate enough to be a part of. Happy 90th anniversary.
Here's to another 90 years of success and representing DC, the nation's capital, in the best way possible.
Won 3 Super Bowls. I happen to be part of 2 of those Super Bowls. The next 90 years, let's win 10 of the next 90 years. So, love you guys, love the franchise, love the team. Happy 90th birthday.
But it's the fans, to me, that have gotten us through 90 years, whether it was the great times or the times when it weren't so good. But the fans never left us. They're the best fans in the National Football League, and you're the ones that enjoy the 90 years, because without you, we never would have made it.
The most important thing, we are 90 years old. And I just want to say to everybody that's involved, that's a part of this organization, happy birthday to us. Let's celebrate and make it a great year.
Now, this team has their fair share of legends and Hall of Famers, and this year we are expanding from the 80 greatest to the 90 greatest. Fans are going to be able to vote as well to make sure we get this right. But right now, Doc and Santana, I want you to draft the most iconic players in franchise history. Not an easy task, but this is according to you. Santana, I'll let you start.
Well, since you're going to let me start, I would have said, Doc, you know, he can take us there because
No, you're going 8 to 9, man. You got that's yours.
My Gemini brother will always say, Tanner, go first. Well, I'm going to go with Bobby Mitchell. You say most iconic. There's a lot of names up here that I can choose from, but when I got here, you know, just hearing the history, some of the tradition and stuff about this team, the organization, I believe he was the first black African-American star here in the Washington franchise. So that's why his name rings the bell for me.
Yeah, and I got to go with Charlie Taylor because Charlie Taylor, to me, embodied what being in the Burgundy and Gold is all about. Playing your position. He left number 1.
Yeah.
And he's got a gold jacket.
My second name would be Doug Williams. You're talking about the first African-American quarterback to win a championship, and we know what Doug's mean to this franchise now today. You still see him in the building. You know, every time when it comes to speaking about diversity and everything about this league, he's one of the poster guys for that. So that's why Doug Williams ring bells for me.
I got to go with another guy who has your characteristics. That's Daryl Green.
Yeah.
The fastest ever. 20 years playing on the corner, and yeah, he would knock you out as well as run you down from behind. I got to go with 28.
And last but not least, I'm going to go with my guy. You know, some might say I'm biased a little bit, but Sean Taylor. I think when you think about Sean, he was taken too soon, and some of the things he had done that early in his career, you can just imagine, you know, where would he be at right now. So when they're talking about names and iconic names, those guys stand large on the totem pole for me.
What Sean did in that limited space and time reminded me a lot of Gale Sayers. Impact, short window, but this guy I'm bringing in, 4th and 1, El Rigo. I mean, John Riggins, you talk about iconic, gold jacket, and a guy that when you break the huddle with it, you just knew we were going to win.
Gotcha.
Not easy at all. You could probably keep going on. That's why we are going to have the 90 greatest. And of course, that's just what, you know, Doc and Tana have. We want you, the fans, to give us your votes as well. In fact, you, the fans, will have a chance to help pick the newest additions to the franchise's 90 greatest list. Over the weekend, the team launched the Command Legacy website featuring historical moments from the rich 90-year history. On the site, fans have the opportunity to help decide which 10 players will be added to the current 80 greatest list. Voting will run from July 9th through the Commanders preseason home opener on August 13th. And coming up, we continue to honor the 90th anniversary of this franchise by hearing from some of the legends that proudly wore the burgundy and gold.
There's such a tradition with this organization in terms of football and the success this organization had, you know, winning 5 championships, 3 in basically a decade under the great Joe Gibbs. We need to make sure that we celebrate it the right way, and our fan base understands that we, the Commanders, you know, we haven't forgotten our legacy. We haven't forgotten that at one point, you know, this team wore the name and used the name Redskins proudly. And we've got to do it justice as an organization.
And welcome back to our 90th anniversary Command Center special. Over the years, many great players have come through the doors here in Washington. And despite the recent name change the organization underwent, we want fans to know how much we care about the history and the players that made this franchise into what it is today. Here are a few of our alumni sharing what this organization means to them.
This is the organization I watched growing up. You know, I've been in the area since I was 5 years old, you know, rooting for the hometown team. So, you know, I remember the seat cushion game in the early 90s against Atlanta, and then everything else, you know, it was obviously a dream come true to play for them. And now locally, I enjoy checking into as many events as I can.
It means the world to me, particularly being a former player here, the opportunities that were afforded me as a former player, what I'm doing now in the community, the partnership I have with the team, particularly serving our men and women who've given everything for their military service. So I'm excited to be here and partner with the Commanders in any way I can.
It's not who I am, but it has certainly been a major part of my identity for, you know, the better part of 30 years. So it's something that it's an organization I'm a huge fan of, and the team, and have been, you know, a supporter. Obviously, since I was a kid, growing up in southeastern North Carolina and seeing a bus, a school bus that a local neighborhood someone bought, and they painted that thing burgundy and gold and put Redskin Special on the side of it. And just since those days, my father was a huge, you know, Washington fan growing up, and so we sort of grew up with it, and it's just, yeah, it's been a part of my life, and I think it always will be.
I tried to give everything I had to the game, and so at the end of the game it's tired, but the feeling I think most guys enjoy is knowing that we did this together. You know, when you win a game, you feel like we did this together, and then the community represents that. Like the team now, as we're talking, that feeling of saying we put together something, especially with a new name. We put together something. We won this game. We did this together. It was sacrifice on everybody. That's the greatest feeling in the world, because when you look at the guy next to you, you want him to believe like, man, he gave everything for this, and I want to look at you and say, man, he gave everything for you. So that's what hopefully this team will represent this year.
I love absolutely hearing all the stories, and I could listen all day to some of the best moments, but I want to hear from you now, Santana. Favorite memory from playing in the burgundy and gold?
Oh, man.
Is it possible to get just one?
Yeah, it's impossible.
He's got the number one, so I don't know how he didn't.
It's a toss-up. A lot of folks talk about the Monday Night Miracle.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I'm going to give that to them. I have my favorite. My favorite would be that same year, Christmas Eve, we got a chance to face the Giants at home, and I had a 3-touchdown day, and we really rumped those guys. And, you know, the reason why is because the game before we played the Giants in New York, back in the stadium that I had been drafted in, didn't have a nice outing. So to come back on Christmas Eve, I'm a holiday guy, and I was able to have a great performance. So that always stands out in front of, you know, in top of my head.
Championship games for me, we beat Dallas at home, and we beat the Niners. Anytime you win the game to advance to the Super Bowl, it's hard to beat. But beating the Rams 51-7 in a playoff game, Daryl Green went and caught Dickerson. Yeah, he caught Dickerson. And that was like, wow. That was it for me.
So many great moments. And of course, the fan base, they want to get back to that. That's what it's all about. What's it going to take?
These guys just going out and First of all, holding each other accountable. I think that's the main thing. You know, one of the things I learned playing this game, if I can't speak to my guy and make sure that he hold up his end and we look in each other's eyes and know that's what this is all about, then we don't have a chance to win. So they got to hold each other accountable and go out there and represent.
And they got to be in the best shape of their life. You got to win the fourth quarter of every battle. In order to do that, you got to put the work in. And then trust the system and do your job and no hero ball. That's the key. Our teams were so close that you take a bullet for a guy. And the coaches have nothing to do with that. That's within that locker room. They got to develop that bond, and losing is just not an option.
We hear players a lot of times, of course, you want the personal accolades, but it means nothing if you're not winning and the team's not doing well. And that is the ultimate goal, is for this team to start being a regular back there in the postseason. We'll see it as year 3 under head coach Ron Rivera, but again, all season long we'll be celebrating the 90th. That's going to do it for this Command Center. Thanks for joining us.